Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today you find me out in Avebury in Wiltshire. Today I've come to Avebury Circle and I'm going to have a look at the circle and some of the surrounding monuments in this area. Don't normally come out this way, but came through here on a family holiday and it's one of those itches I've just had to scratch. If you're new to the channel, you won't know, but existing viewers will know that I do a lot of visits to burial mounds, hill forts in my local area. So these monuments do fascinate me. So let's just go and explore Avebury and see what we can find. So look at these giants. From what I've read about these, some of these stones can weigh up to 40 tons in weight, and this one is an absolute giant, and this one too. And these are sarsen stones, same as the ones used for Stonehenge. I believe they're not quarried too far away. I think it's about 7 miles away that these were quarried, but still, yeah, I can believe that is probably a 40 ton stone. How primitive men managed to, number one, get that out the ground, and number two, move it 7 miles here is beyond me. Just to give you a bit of perspective, just compare how large these stones are to me. So I'm filming this on a Saturday. I'm surprised how quiet it is, this being one of England's top tourist sites, and well, one of Europe's, the largest stone circle in Europe. So I think more people would want to pop down and see these on their free time. Glad you've managed to pop in and join me virtually. Not sure which way to head, but I think we'll head up to the sides. So right here you can get some perspective of quite how large this circle is. Not as big as some of the henges near me, like Sussex, and bigger than Chanctonbury, and bigger than Stonehenge as well. But the fact that you've got a whole village sitting in amongst the ring, it just goes to show how big it is. But I guess some of our ancestors probably didn't think too much about it, and the fact that there is all this stone that somebody's bothered to drag up and place in this location, probably like candy to a baby for some of our older ancestors. As you can see, a lot of the houses here are made of stone, and so you can imagine somebody comes upon this circle and sees some stones, and then they can build themselves a little property out of said stone. But the fact that these are all in formation, I'm surprised that the whole formation of it, it comes up as something, or gives you a feeling of something a bit supernatural when these large stones are placed. Got a monster here laying on its side. I imagine this was a standing one, like its brothers over there, and fallen over in time. This, to me, I would imagine would have been the top of the stone, and at the bottom. Yeah, that is quite flat, so you can see that they have cut the stones to make them flat to stand them up, but still quite a feat to do that. Let's see if we can head up onto the outer ring and have a look around. Up here we get a good perspective of the ditch and bank system. And this ditch here, they say it was 3 meters, 10 feet deep, and the water table is around about 2 meters, so, or used to be. So this would have been filled with water, and some say it would give it the illusion of being an island, but with this large bank around the outside, I can't imagine that that is the case. But it's amazing when you sort of look around, because where I come from in Sussex, these special places are normally put on the top of hills so that everyone around can see them. On this one, in a valley, so the hills are all around, and yeah, anyone on the hills can see this from upon the top of the hills and get drawn in. But doesn't look so much like a defensive feature here, in that we haven't got the ditch on the outside, the ditch is on the inner. I think this is one of the key words, the word henge. They say that the ditch is on the inner side. What we're going to do though, so I'm just going to hop back over to this amazing beech tree. You can probably see from here there's been quite a lot of love given to this tree. Okay, 4 beech trees. This one's heavily carved, well, they're all heavily carved up actually. This one more so than others. Absolutely amazing root system. I would imagine that a lot of this has been put on by school children, because there's quite a pattern emerging in terms of the themes of colours, and I imagine the schools will be creating a narrative for their children to follow. Got some candles down here, so some people have been carrying out a worship or ceremony of some type. And here we've got the more traditional tree worship. Even an old hippie's been here. Everywhere where people can reach, there's some ribbon or bracelet attached to it. Sure, the tree really appreciates all the love it's being given. I certainly do love this type of tree. Got some more traditional offerings here. You can see the beech nuts just starting to be ready. But those ones have fallen out of my hand. As we walk along here, we can see, just like some of the hill forts near me, we have chalk on the ground. I'm guessing where you find chalk, you'll find flints. I've seen flints in this area. One of the places I stopped. A bit more exposed chalk there. So with chalk, like I said, flints always form in there, and the flints are pretty much the same as quartz. So they have a very specific vibration, and that might be one of the reasons why this area was chosen for this stone circle. The stones were put into their positions using ley lines and dowsing. So you can still to this day dowse these stones, and as you get close to the areas where the stones are, the dowsing rods will indicate you're at the exact point where these stones should have been placed. So it almost looks like it's a sort of a random thing, but yeah, whoever went to the effort of lifting these massive stones and placing them here knew exactly where they were placing them and why they were placing them. And these ley lines go all across this landscape, down to Stonehenge, down into France, to the stone formations down there, and even down to the pyramids as well. So to have something in England linked, albeit through a mystical line, it's quite a special place to be. Lots of beech trees in this area. These beech trees are synonymous with these circles. In Sussex, we have Chantonbury Ring, and Charles Goring planted beech trees on the ring so he could see them from where he lived. But that's how the story goes, but I would imagine that it was for a more mystical reason that they would have chosen the beech tree. The beech tree is known as the queen of the woods, with the oak being the king. So these are regarded as the sort of apex of all trees. So these are a couple of great looking stones. I don't know whether it's just the weather, but this one's almost got like a seat that's eroded out of it, and above it an archway. Makes you feel a bit like a king or queen. And over on this one, I don't know whether it's just me, but there's the light, but we've got a face here in the stone. Look, a smile, a nose, and an eye socket. Or when you come round here, that disappears, but completely gone. But that's just a human thing. We see faces in everything, because as a child, obviously, we are tuning into faces before we learn to speak. As I was alluding to before, right here we can see where some of these giant stones have been cut up and used to make a little wall for this church, and even the church wall itself you can see made of sarsen stone. Right here we can see where this main road has been cut right the way through the middle of the circle. You'd think planners would see the significance of this and just go around it. I mean, I know these houses would have been here a long time before, but you could have a trackway out. You don't necessarily need to have a road going through. But yeah, I'm lost on those decisions, to be honest. And more stones on this side, not quite as big as the other ones. Another view of the ditch and bank on the other side, and you can get the true scale of it here. Much bigger than a lot of the ones that I've seen before. Some of that may be due to this silting up and making that look a lot bigger, and maybe even erosion on some of the stones in the centre of the circle. Don't know, but yeah, quite big banks on the outside, and significant ditch as well. There's some more perspectives of the village inside the ring. Repeating myself, but yeah, it's such a big ring to have a village in there as well. I mean, great views. If you live in that house there, you've got some great views, haven't you? And a lovely house to boot. So yeah, I can't blame somebody for buying it. But whether you should be building it here, I don't know. I'm sure today you wouldn't get away with building a house in Stonehenge. Look at this monster. Huge. 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 Right next to the pub is this amazing old building. I mean, I guess this is for coach and horses. This type of archway, I would imagine, if you were staying at this old inn, your coach and horses would go in there. So last section of the stone ring, and again we've got some big stones there, albeit some little place markers next to it, so I don't know whether these stones have been moved at all. And then as we move around, almost looks like this one here has been quarried a little bit, and the same for this one. So maybe the people that have quarried these stones are just too big to shift, so they were chipping away at them in place. But it almost looks like there is a bit of a pattern. You get these big stones and then smaller ones, and some of them are quite weathered. The ones with obviously the sharp cracks on could be ones that later people have chipped away at, but I would say that it's probably more of a tuning thing, that if you're trying to put these in place to create a specific vibration, you probably need, a bit like with a guitar, obviously you have some tighter strings and some longer strings to create the different harmonies, and I imagine it's the same here, that you've got these bigger stones where the harmonies need to be lower, and the smaller ones where you need a higher harmony. So yeah, interesting to see this in action. If you are coming here, there are other things to do here. Just over there we've got the Avebury Manor, and this here is a visitor centre and cafe. There's also some gardens and a second church to see. I'll just put some clips of the second church in here. So Avebury's got two churches. Tried the one in the ring and that one was closed, but looks like this one's open, so we'll have a look inside. So it looks like the berries of the yew tree just coming into season. Expect these to turn red soon. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I'm going to be doing some more videos in this area, so if you could hit the subscribe button, you'll be able to see the rest of my videos on the channel. And if you could help me out with a like, it will help to share my videos with the rest of YouTube. Thanks again for watching.